Good morning. Well, it is morning and it is really awful out today. I'm Pat with River's Edge Chev, and I've decided to make us a nice breakfast before we go out and deal with the pouring down rain and all the different chores we have to do outside. Anyway, so I decided to make oven roasted hash brown potatoes. I've got 4 Yukon Gold potatoes and some onion diced up and some garlic, and it's tossed in some olive oil. And then we're going to have Eggs Benedict, and we're going to do a blender Hollandaise sauce and with ham and English muffins and all the rest of that. So let's get started. So I'm going to put the potatoes in right now to cook, and I've got the oven set at 375 convection. And if you don't have a convection oven, just go ahead and crank it up to 400 degrees, and then just keep an eye on them while you're roasting them. You just want to roast them until they're nice and golden brown. So I'm going to put these on a pan and put them in the oven. This is the way the potatoes look before I put them in the oven. They're just 1 potato cube deep. So it's just 1 single layer of potatoes with the onions and garlic. Anyway, so I have some nice ham that we're going to be warming up in a skillet. So for the Hollandaise sauce, we're going to be working with 3 whole eggs, the zest of 2 lemons, and the juice of 1.5 lemons. These are kind of small lemons, so I'm doing 1.5 of them. And then I'm going to be using a pinch of salt and a little pinch or 2 of tarragon. I like tarragon in it. A lot of people put dry mustard or Dijon mustard in theirs. I like mine with a little bit of tarragon. And we're going to be using a little bit more than 1 cup of butter, maybe a cup plus 3 tablespoons, and a pinch of salt. So we're going to coddle our eggs on top of the stove in, we're going to be taking the water up to a boil and then reducing it to a simmer, and put our egg cups in. Each egg cup will have 1 egg in it. You can poach your eggs, but I'm coddling these today because these are store-bought eggs, and they're not fresh enough, really, in my opinion, to use for poached eggs. You want a nice fresh egg when you're going to poach, because otherwise the whites can be pretty runny, and that's great for meringues and things like that, but not great for poached eggs. And there's seems to be a new trend with people wanting to poach their eggs in plastic wrap, which I consider to be, quite frankly, completely insane, because cooking in plastic is really not a good idea. And I think that kind of became popular with some of the restaurants out there, and it's not a good thing. So don't poach your eggs in plastic. If they don't hold up to simmering water, put them in an egg cup. I'm going to start heating my butter up now on the back burner here. And I am going to be taking the butter up to a true boil. You want to make sure that your butter is super hot. You don't want to take it over into browning it, which, as long as it didn't go too brown, it wouldn't be bad. That would kind of taste really nice, actually. But so I'm going to take it up to a really hot degree. I want it to be really hot because I want it to cook the eggs. I'm going to crack these into the blender. And the juice of 1.5 lemons, a good pinch of salt, and I'm using pink Hawaiian salt today because I thought that would just kind of be nice, and a couple pinches of tarragon. If you're using dry tarragon, you can use a pretty good pinchful. If you're using fresh tarragon, you'll want to be judicious about how much you put in, because when they're fresh, they can turn your Hollandaise sauce green, which you'd have green eggs and ham then. Not too bad. It'd be a Dr. Seuss theme. So anyway, we're going to wait for a little bit to do this, because I'm going to get the ham warming up on the stove. I've got the butter melting. I'm going to get the water going to coddle the eggs so that gets boiling. And when I'm coddling the eggs, I take the water up to a boil and then I take it down to a simmer, and then I'll add the eggs to that, the egg cups. And these are nice little egg cups. They're borosilicate glass. I think I got them off of Amazon quite a while ago. And they have little lids. And they came with little stainless steel bales, kind of a spring-loaded bale when they came, but those didn't work very well. So I just use a jar lifter to lift them out of the water and to place them in the water if it's too hot. So it's still heating up good. So I'm going to put the blender down here on a stool because I can't reach it to pour the butter in otherwise. It's too high for me because I've gotten too short. So I'm going to whiz up this. So that's what it looks like, just whizzed up with the lemon juice, the egg, the salt, and the tarragon. And the butter is boiling away, so I'll turn this on. You add it slowly. Okay, and there's our Hollandaise sauce. I'm going to put it back here to keep it warm on the stove with the heat from the oven. And we'll check the eggs out. Nope, not quite done. They're still definitely raw. So we'll add another 5 minutes to that. Okay, our hash browns are done out of the oven and everything is ready to plate. So we will dish this up. A little overdone. This will be good. This is the simplest way of making hash browns, in my opinion, rather than cooking them on top of the stove, especially if you've got a crowd to feed, you know, if you're having friends or family to come eat. It's really nice to just be able to do them in the oven. That's easy. Lay our little bits of ham on here. Now we'll see if we can get the eggs out of the egg cups without burning my fingers off. I'll use this to... Whoop, whoop. Okay. This one. Yeah. Here you go. Or a hollandaise sauce. And this always keeps really well in the refrigerator, and you can just warm it up. And I always like to serve an extra ramekin of it next to your plate. Anyway, so this is our beautiful Eggs Benedict breakfast. It's very tasty, and it's one of those things that we have sometimes out of the blue, but frequently for holidays, Easter, Christmas morning, New Year's morning, those sorts of things, birthdays. Anyway, it's a really simple recipe to do, and it rarely ever fails. Anyway, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.